UFC returns to the ESPN Plus airwaves on Saturday night for UFC Vegas 29 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and MMA on the Go has the results. Starting with the prelims, Casey O'Neill extended her undefeated record in the opening bout of the card, choking out Lara Procopio in the third round with a rear naked choke. O'Neill first looked for the choke while Procopio was standing up, holding onto the it as they went to the ground, and Procopio eventually went unconscious. The submission win came after a close fight that saw O'Neill showcase her striking and grappling skills. Procopio had a good start to the fight, scoring takedowns on O'Neill and holding her own in striking exchanges on the feet in the first round. Ricky Glenn had an explosive win in his return to the cage, stopping Joaquim Silva within a minute with strikes. Glenn scored 2 knockdowns within the short period of time that the fight was going for. He first dropped Silva with a left hand, then hit him with numerous follow-up shots on the ground. After Silva worked back up to his feet, he was clipped by another punch that floored him, causing the referee to step in. The fight was Glenn's first appearance since 2018. The 32-year-old is now back in the win column, as his previous fight was a loss to Kevin Aguilar.
Roque, the Gladiator Glenn!
Josh Parisian scored his first UFC win on the prelims, having a close fight against Roque Martinez to win by a split decision. The majority of the fight took place in clinch positions where Parisian and Martinez exchanged punches and elbows. Martinez's best round was early, as he was able to keep Parisian against the cage and unload punches. Parisian started to notch more control time in the clinch and land more strikes in the later rounds.
Josh Parisian!
Khaos Williams returned to the win column on the prelims, fighting a hectic pace against Matthew Semelsberger through 3 rounds to win by a unanimous decision. Semelsberger was frequently the fighter who would press forward and throw singular shots. Williams played a counter-punching role throughout, often responding to strikes from Semelsberger with a quick flurry of shots. The pace of the bout dropped significantly once they entered the third round, with the output of strikes decreasing significantly.
Khaos, the Ox Fighter, Williams!
A dominant performance from Virna Jandiroba earned her a win over Kanako Murata on the prelims, ending after 2 rounds due to a doctor stoppage. Murata was taken out of the fight following the second round due to damage on her left arm. Murata was visibly not using her left arm throughout the second round, as it became clear that it was injured. The noticeable damage came after the opening round, where Jandiroba had her caught in an armbar for over a minute.
Virna,
Negumereanu scored a win in his return to the UFC cage, defeating Aleksa Camur via split decision. The fight came after a scrappy 3-round fight that saw both fighters score with a high flurry of punches on the feet. Negumereanu was warned numerous times during the fight to not grab the cage, although he was never deducted a point. The fight was Negumereanu's first appearance since 2019. His last fight dated back to March of 2019, where he lost his UFC debut to Saparbeg Safarov.
Negumereanu!
Before we finish the video, if you enjoyed this content, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to get the latest videos from MMA on the Go. A clean overhand right from Matt Brown put an end to his fight against Diego Lima in the second round. The walk-off victory handed Brown his first win in over a year. Brown's finish win came after a round-and-a-half-long stand-up battle with Lima. Brown was hurt with leg kicks early on, although he was able to block takedown attempts throughout to keep the fight on the feet. "Not bad for a 40-year-old man from a small town in Ohio, right?" said Brown, who scored his first win since turning 40 earlier this year.
Match the Immortal Brown!
Bruno Silva showed powerful fists in his UFC debut, stopping Wellington Turman in the first round with ground and pound. He unloaded with a series of shots late in the round while in full guard, knocking Turman out and finishing the fight. Turman was persistent in looking to take the fight down early on, mounting the back of Silva and shooting for numerous takedowns. Seungwoo Choi extended his win streak to a trio of fights on the main card, stopping Julian Erosa in the second minute of action with a left hook. Choi dropped Erosa with the punch and landed a few before the referee intervened and stopped the bout. The fight was mostly a feeling-out process before the finishing sequence. The victory continued a win streak that Choi first started in 2019 with victories over Suman Mukhtarian and Yusuf Salal.
Seungwoo Choi!
Marlon Vera got back into the win column with a tough unanimous decision win over Davy Grant on Saturday night. After a close start to the fight, Vera pulled away with his ability to land striking in stand-up and grappling positions. The opening round of the fight was the closest, as both fighters were able to connect with strong shots. Grant threw a higher volume of strikes in the frame, although Vera answered back with a fair amount as well. Vera cut Grant open early in the second round with elbows in the clinch position.
Marlon Chito Vera!
Sergey Spivak earned a win over an experienced fighter in Aleksei Oleinik in the co-main event, defeating him via unanimous decision. Spivak was the more active striker on the feet while Oleinik was focused on taking the fight to the ground. Oleinik successfully took the fight to the ground in the first and second round, closing both frames with a submission attempt. Spivak was able to stop takedowns in the third round, allowing them both to have more striking exchanges in the final 5 minutes.
For the winner by unanimous decision, Sergey Spivak!
The Korean zombie Jung Chan-sung fought back to his winning ways on Saturday night, going 5 rounds against fellow ranked featherweight Dan Ige for a unanimous decision victory. The fight started with a close round that was mostly contested on the feet. Later in the fight, it was Zombie who took control with his grappling skills. Zombie's best moment with striking was early in the second round, as he dropped Ige to a knee briefly with a right hook to the head. Zombie then spent a large portion of the second round on the back of Ige. Zombie started the third round strong by scoring a takedown and landing in full guard. He eventually moved to the back of Ige, where he pursued a rear naked choke for a few minutes.
The Korean zombie, Chan-sung.